Taking just a few more breaths in your child's pose. Taking nice, slow, rhythmic inhales through the nose, filling the area of the belly and lower back. And if there's a lot going on for you today in this moment, exhaling out of the mouth. Okay, we're going to gently bring ourselves into all fours, tabletop, and just getting into a little bit of core. We're going to be focusing this next round of session on balancing poses. So we're going to strengthen the belly a little bit first. Taking the knees together to touch, start to reach the right leg back. Take a moment to just pulse that right leg up in space, squeezing through that right glute, keeping an internal rotation so that kneecap is facing the ground in order for the hips to remain square. Now on your next inhale, exhale, draw the knee in toward the nose, dropping the head, and then inhale to extend back. Just continue with a slower than usual pace. And you're welcome, if you want to add on, if you have the energy, you're extending your left arm up as that right leg kicks back. And then every time you bend at the knee, the left elbow bends, and you try to get the arm and leg to touch underneath your belly. Really find that strong core engagement. Go for that full extension and reach. Let's go for 2 more. Try to keep breathing in and out of the nose, finding that ujjayi breath. And when you're ready, just slowly release that down, coming into a high plank. Okay, we're here for 30 seconds. We're going to go back to back to back with some more simpler core exercises. Now you could always drop down onto the knees. If there's any kind of injury in through the joints of the wrists, you could be dropping down onto the elbows. Try to keep the tailbone tucked. Set the shoulder scapula down the back. You're here for 4, 3, 2, tabletop. Knees together, and then reach that left leg back. Good, squeeze your glute, and then just find those pulses again. Take a moment to catch your breath. Try to breathe a little bit more fully and deeply into the rib cage, finding that expansion, that feeling of extension through your spine. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale as the leg lifts, exhale, bending the knee, rounding through the spine, inhale to kick back, and then exhale, continue to find a slower pace. Really linking your breath to your movement, squeezing the glute tight. And if you did before, you could slowly start to add the opposite arm. So right arm reaches up, and then exhale, drawing it in toward the knee. Another challenge is tucking the right toes under, and then keeping that balance point on all 5 of those toes. Perhaps it's a challenge, or perhaps it actually helps. Okay, whatever your body needs, go with that. Let's go for the final 4. Keeping that breath in and out of the nose. And the next time you touch down, come back into that high plank pose. All 10 of those fingertips are spread out nice and wide. Inner creases of the elbows are facing one another. Scanning the body, get your alignment in place, and listen to what's going on. You've got 15 seconds to go. Tuck that tailbone so you're not dropping down through the hips. Your core is tightly engaged. You're here for 4, 3, 2, tabletop. Take a breath in through the nose, out of the mouth, downward dog. Tuck the toes, reach the hips skyward, and take a moment here to just walk the feet. Shake out the head. Inhale the heels up toward the ceiling. Exhale, ground your heels down. Keep pushing the mat away from you. Do that one more time. Inhale, heels up. Exhale as the heels come down. Keep pushing the mat away from you. Take 3 breaths. Eyes are looking past your inner thighs. Good. Slowly bend your knees. Look to the top of the mat. You're tiptoeing the feet up, but pay attention. You're going to stay balancing on the tips of the toes. This one might feel a little awkward. Spike the heels up. First balancing pose, bending at the elbows. You're going to do your best to try to take the kneecaps as close as you can toward the armpits. And as you bend the elbows, you're going to create a tricep shelf. Resting the shins on top of that tricep shelf, eyes are looking to the top of the mat. Try to continue to balance here. Take your time. If you fall over, just slowly bring yourself back. And advanced students, if you want to add on, you could come into your headstand or something that you feel comfortable going through on your own. Okay, we've got just a few more breaths here of practice. Feel free if you want to do a jump back and a flush set vinyasa. Or maybe you just slowly touch down, take a resting child's pose. Or you bring yourself back into a down dog, okay? You're here for about 3 breaths. Slowly bend at the knees again. Look to the top of the mat. Tiptoe the feet to the middle and then walk the palms to your feet. Hips width forward fold. For those of you that are still balancing, you're still slowly meeting us here. We're going to join one another in the next couple of breaths to get into our next balancing pose. Head comes up last. Start to roll up your spine vertebrae by vertebrae. Once those shoulders stack to the hips, inhale the arms overhead. Looking up, taking your palms to prayer just in front of the heart. And whether you're staying here facing the top of the mat, or maybe you want to go sideways if you have some kind of prop around you, if you need some support balancing. We're going to come into Garudasana Eagle. Inhale your hands up. Take your right hand, arm underneath your left, and then find your bind. If that's not there, you can hold on to your shoulders and then start to bend your knees. Bring all of your weight toward your left foot. Start by reaching the right leg up. Now you have an option to stay here. We are going to do 2 rounds. You have an option to take that foot into a figure 4-leg stretch. Or if it's there, you're going to take the right leg and cross it over the left. Try your best to tuck the toe behind the calf. Wherever you are, you're trying to zip up the arms and the legs as tight as you can. Constricting that blood flow will help to bring new fresh blood into the limbs of the body. 2 more breaths. And change. Arms up. Exhale now your left arm underneath your right. Find your bind or tap onto the shoulders and then bend the knees. Good. Bring all that weight to your right foot. Now every day is going to be different, but do your best to find your version of eagle pose, of that bind. Zipping up those legs tightly. Try to pull that left hip back so the hips are still level. Try not to squeeze your toes as much or tighten your jaw. Put it into the inner arms and the inner thighs. Bind, squeeze for 3, for 2, and change. Arms up. Second set right away. Right arm underneath the left. Okay, come back into your pose. Bring that weight onto the left foot. Right leg comes up, your version. And now take the hips a little bit deeper. Squeezing in through the pelvic floor, get that Mula Bandha lock. That includes an anal lift. You're here for 3, 2, and change. Arms up. Left arm underneath the right. Good job. Bend the knees. Bring that weight onto the right foot. Set up your second set, final side. But this time go a little bit deeper into the pose. Keep pushing the hips back so the knee doesn't go past the big toe. Shoulders somewhat stack on top of the hips and engaging your core. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You're here for 3, 2, and letting it go. Inhale, arms up. Palms to prayer, exhale. Shoulders up to the earlobes, inhale. Out of the mouth, do that again. Inhale, shoulders up. Good, stepping to the back of the mat. We're gonna come into that bind with the arms, but we're gonna come into a one-legged balancing pose, challenging our angle by bringing the upper body forward, back leg lifts. If you're like, what? Just jump on in with me, okay? Inhale your arms up. Take your right arm underneath your left again. Find your bind or hold on to your shoulders. And then right foot steps into the middle of the mat. Now, if this is enough, you're staying here. With time, maybe allow gravity to bring the upper body forward, back leg lifts, flexing that back left foot. And be mindful of your structure in the spine, especially up through the shoulders. Try not to round forward. You're maintaining posture. Your deepest point is keeping your shoulders aligned to your hips. Keep your internal rotation through your left leg. Stay here for a few more breaths. Or if you want to challenge, come into a curtsy set where that back left shin touches the back right calf, and you're doing 2 to 3 curtsies. Whatever you want to do, you've got 2 more breaths. Just as you started, left foot steps to the back of the mat, arms come up, inhale, palms to prayer, exhale, shoulders up to the earlobes, inhale. Out of the mouth, do that again, inhale, shoulders up. Switching sides, inhale the arms up. Taking your left arm now underneath your right. Whatever it may look like, reposition yourself, slight tuck to the tailbone. And then left foot steps into the middle of the mat. Come into that reflection pose. Right kneecap internally rotates. Flex the back right foot. And then slowly explore where your body is able to land today. Keep the engagement through the muscles of your back. Shoulders remain rolled down. Chest remains quite open even though your hands are bound. Maybe you're coming into those curtsies, 2 to 3. Maybe it's not there today, that's okay. You're here for 3, 2, step to the back of the mat, arms up, inhale. Palms to prayer, exhale. Again, shoulders up to the earlobes, inhale. Out of the mouth. One more, inhale, shoulders up. Let's do one more balance pose just to take it full circle. You're gonna step now in the middle of your mat. Take a moment to just reset. Palms to your lower back, pressing those hips forward, taking the eyes at an angle to look up. And we know our body by now, right? At any point, if the posture becomes too much where it causes pain, obviously pull back. Okay, you don't want the breath to be rigid or broken. You want a smooth breath in and out of the nose. That's when you know you're maintaining consistency of movement and you're moving at the pace that you need to. Okay, so letting that go, you're in the middle of your mat. You're going to bring all the weight onto your left foot. And you're going to bend the right knee. Now perhaps level 1, you stay here, enjoying your quadricep stretch. Maybe if you're ready, find a focus point with your eyes. Level 2, your left arm reaches up to the ceiling, and then you hold on to the instep of the right foot with the right palm. Slowly begin to hinge the upper body forward as you begin to activate through that right back leg and you kick, finding a dancer's pose. Maybe you have a strap around the bottom of the foot and you're able to come into full expression. Otherwise, you're just continuing to kick the right leg up in space, squeezing both glutes, engaging through the pelvic floor, and then reaching the upper body forward at the same time. You're here for 3 more breaths. Slowly come out of the pose, releasing that right foot down. Sway the hips from side to side, circling out through the ankles on both sides. And we're going to come onto the other side right away. If you need a quick reset, palms to your lower back, engaging your core, and then find your focus with the eyes. Now bring all that weight toward the right foot. Stack the shoulders on top of the hips, and then bending your left knee, and you could just hang out in level 1. Maybe you stay here and enjoy your quadricep stretch by slightly squeezing that left glute, tucking the tailbone to get a little bit deeper into that front fascial plane. Or maybe you start to set up the next level. Right arm up to the ceiling, position that left arm, the palm, so it's holding the instep of the left foot. And then as your upper body goes forward, the back left leg goes up. Be mindful not to stack the left hip on top of the right. Keep your hips level. Now the trick is the further you go forward, the more that back leg can reach up, and then it's just time and practice, flexibility, where that toe one day will touch your head. Quite literally. You're here for just a few more breaths. Final 3. Gently start to release the pose, taking the palms to the lower back, reset, eyes to the ceiling, 2 breaths. Hips go forward, body goes back. Circle out those ankles again, just coming to an upright stance. Sway the hips from side to side, staying in the middle of your mat. Inhale the arms up to the ceiling, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. Hang out in your forward fold. Let's just take a moment to decompress the lower back. Eyes look past your inner thighs and really just allow the weight of the body to relax. You've got about 2 more counts. Slowly bend your knees a little deeper, listen up. You're going to step the right foot forward between the palms, and you're going to step the left leg back, drop the back knee. We're just going to take a moment to reset the spine. Take the right palm onto that right thigh, and then just hang out here in a twist. Allow the weight of your left hip to ground, so you can get right into the inner thigh, but then lift up your heart, so then you can start to feel the spinal cord get into a slight twist and get into a release. Okay, just take 3 breaths here. Good, right arm touches down, high plank. Maybe add some push-ups, some vinyasa flushes. Maybe you're just staying in high plank pose. We've got 5 seconds before we switch sides, and then our child's pose is coming up. Stepping that left leg between the palms, dropping the back right knee. Now you're going to hang out here, left palm onto the thigh, and then just slowly, bone by bone, right up through your spine, you're twisting. And with practice and awareness, you can actually feel each individual one come into its full expression. Okay, wherever you are, micro bend into that right elbow so you're not hyperextending. That left knee is staying aligned to the heel. It's not going past the big toe. Take about 2 more breaths. And just like you did before, high plank, you can stay there. You can add some push-ups or a flush, and then just dropping down onto the knees, coming into a child's pose. 5 breaths before your add-on.